So here we are at last. The Lathein film is out and the tale of Rebecca Lathein has been fully told. This video will show most of the behind the scenes from the making of the film. We could go into detail, but that would be another 5-part series. Let's get started. After we finished what was meant to be a standalone backstory film of Rebecca, the Golden Sword, we started entertaining the idea of another film we could do with the characters. We started talking about continuing where we left off in the first film. Belly and Yvette arrives with an invitation to the 8. We started to plan out the storyline, and quickly we started to realize that there are 2 different films here. That's how the 8 became its own thing. We needed to reintroduce the beginning of the war to a new audience who had not seen the Shadow Crown series, before we could jump into it and assume the audience would understand the difference. So once we had done the 8, and caught everyone up with the current world situation, we already had the script ready for Lathein and instantly moved over to it. With this film, as it would be the last film with Rebecca as the main character, would be more of a personal story, seeing as her death happens in the series after. How could we tell a concluding story? We decided to focus on the story of Barens and Rebecca. This mission will define their relationship and what sends her on her path, becoming the ruthless killer she is in the series.
Braigar. What exactly is Lathein, the 2020 Minecraft medieval machinima produced by the TSC Studios in association with Corrupted Films, all about?
While at first the film might seem like a typical revenge story, about Rebecca losing to Gillian and training to restore her pride and reclaiming the Golden Sword, this film at its core is actually a look into the relationship between Rebecca Lathein and Baron Krander. The film delves into their long history with each other, and attempts to show how important Barens was to Rebecca, not only as a partner, but as her moral compass. Barens acts as the only person Rebecca truly feels safe with.
For a film about morality and the ethics of what is right and wrong, there sure was a lot of stabbing involved. How did you make the fight scenes in Lathein look so cool?
So for the fight scene. I am still fairly new to them, but I tried my best with what I know, and they do get better throughout the film. But here's a quick example I recorded to showcase how I went about it. First we set up the characters and I also added the blades to the model so I could animate them as well. Then we planned a path and I put down some blocks to stop me when I walked backwards. I had the other character follow the first one and then remove the blocks after. Then it was just a matter of changing the animated poses to have them interact with their blades and movements. Having them then change how high and low they strike can help making the fight look a bit more dynamic instead of static characters striking at each other. Then we set up the camera pads and recorded with Minema. Let's watch. Scuffle, so do you have any question for me about the music or...
Braigar. Can't you see I'm vibing right now?
Okay, so the music has been a blessing for this film. Some tracks I made myself to fill up the background space, one track I got from Epidemic while the rest were composed by a Fetty Sound, and the main soundtracks were done by our new in-house composer, Elia, aka Skywave.
This was my first attempt at composing for a project like this. I was looking for a long time to find a project I could work on. I asked, is anyone working on a Game of Thrones like project? And it happened that Braigar was just doing that. When we started working on the tracks, I first worked on the opening theme and the main theme for the film. Once that was done, I moved over the first fight scene between Rebecca and Gillian, which was maybe the most action-packed track in the film. Then the last track I did was the final between Rebecca and Barens, which required to be more emotional and had also some recurring themes from earlier. A lot of fun working on Lathein, and I'm looking forward to working on more future projects.
By the way, who was the badass warrior with the 2 katanas?
Introducing in this film, we have firstly Gillian Hellis, who is protecting the heir to the throne of Yaran, Stefan Moyar, together with Jon Stewart. She wields 2 katanas and later only one together with the golden sword she takes from Rebecca. Her family comes from a long line of royal protectors and she was raised as such since she could wield a blade. Her ancestors came to Yaran around 4 decades ago, as the people known as the Northerners who were escaping a plague. Gillian was played by Navarine from Boland Gaming.
Why did you kill her? She was so cool.
Well,
Oh my god.
technically it was Jedd Heidrich, who was played by me, Icanra. He was mentioned in the 8 and is now an active character. He was introduced to act as the devil on Rebecca's shoulder, while Barens plays the angel. He pushes her in the direction which will benefit the Alliance, but will chip away at her morality. Jedd dual wields Ravager short swords, and later takes over Barens' dark blade for himself.
What was the deal with Baron's uncle? At the beginning, he seemed to hate Baron, but later on, he was protecting him.
Oh, Ian Krander at the beginning of the film is just a young teenager who has a bit of an attitude. But that doesn't mean he doesn't care about his family. He wants to feel important in his family, which probably stems from some insecurities at home, and therefore takes the blade that Barens attempts to get back. Later on, he has an idea who Rebecca has become, and when she comes to find him, Ian wants to protect Barens from what she could do. You understand?
Wait, am I supposed to be in this film?
Yes you are, so take it from the top.
But this is Lathein.
This is like a tie-in scene between Lathein and The Voice, where you play the character of Sladimir.
Oh, do I do something cool?
You are on a boat explaining that you see Rebecca to Katanas. You know, she's blind and that.
Oh, what is she doing?
Just wait to see the film.
Should I not know this?
Look, you say the things and you keep calling the button. End scene. Can we record this now?
Oh, fine. But will I get to be in my films after this?
Yeah, you can expect a lot more from the Tribunal.
Yes. Okay, stop wasting time now, Braigar. We've got to record my lines.
Okay, let's do this. I want to thank the cast and crew for their efforts, McHorse for his mods, Alex and Blaez for their models, and Fetty Sound and Elias Skywave for their amazing music, Pillow, Apple, Scuffle and Simon for their continued work as producers, and lastly I want to personally thank Scuffle and Tussler for their time and effort put into the characters of Rebecca and Barens. I will always remember fondly our times together working on these characters. We hope you stick with us going forward as we've got many cool projects in the works. Stay tuned for The Remnant coming in 2021. And to finish it all off, I'll let Scuffle, the voice of Rebecca, have the stage.
Rebecca has been the first, big thing that I actually got into, and it turned out to be so much more than just a project. It was multiple movies, and people think that, people have recognized me, actually, in voice chats or whatever, and it's really fun to have something like that going for me. And, just voicing Rebecca has also made me improve so much and made me feel more confident in the way that I voice act, because when I started out voicing her, hearing that back now, I still enjoyed doing that a lot, but I can already tell that I can do that many more times better now, because I feel much more comfortable and confident in the way that I voice act, and seeing people's reactions to only the trailer of Lathein already made me very happy, because I went all the way, I was very confident and very comfortable voicing her, and then people being so excited and so happy about seeing this movie come up, that really made me happy. I mean, I've already said it before, but I started out voicing her, and I can tell that I was stuttering a little bit, I was a little bit unsure maybe of what are people gonna think? And now when I hear back my lines, I'm like, wow, this is Rebecca. I really made this role my own, and over the course of these movies I only became better, only to have Lathein be the very last project that I voice her in for the foreseeable future. So I think that I went on a little journey with Rebecca that I can say I'm very proud of. Yeah.